Hey everybody, it's Carpo again, and it's another beautiful day in Portland. It's like 85, 90 today, and just got home from work, sipping a little bit of coffee, and talking about, well, philosophical texts and Satori and Bodhisattva. And okay, Satori, let's start with Satori. It's an awakening, right? Satori is the moment of awareness when a person supposedly says aha. It's the aha moment that never leaves a person. So when I was coming home, I was thinking about, like, they talk about the Bodhisattva, which is like the perfectly uh, the perfect soul. A person who has come here in reincarnation just to simply serve and for no other purpose. A person who's completed their mission. But I don't know how much I subscribe to any of those, beliefs, and I think that they're all just kind of archetypes for the perfection, soul perfection of a person. And it led me to this idea because when I come home every day, I look around at the trees. I don't stress the way I used to. I spend like an hour in traffic to get 15 miles, and usually going like 10 miles an hour on average, and if not less. And I've learned to take a different approach to everything in life, and not even when I'm in a situation like that, which is my least favorite situation. I look around at the trees and the road, the telephone poles, the cars. And I even look at the lines of cars and think of them like, an organism, because they are an organism. But my point, I guess, is that when we start to abandon our different views of things, a new view of the world breaks through, a view that can never leave you, and that is Satori. That is the view that you imbibe, the view that you hold every single day towards the world around you. And it's not something that's easily forgotten. And even when we're doing the most mundane tasks, we have some sort of an awareness of these values that we've learned. And God, the sense of God, the idea of God, doesn't matter how a person worships or how a person, what a person believes. And that's, I think, that the point we need to get across is to get over division among who worships what. In ancient times, they found, areas where they've excavated temples, multiple temples of different religions, right next to each other. A lot of people think that religions have always been in conflict, and that's just not the case. There was a time when people respected one another. You hear that old saying, when in Rome, do as the Romans do, right? Well, that's derived from the idea that in a Roman society, at one time, there were, whatever religion a person practiced, right? Whatever a culture practiced, when a person went to visit that, they would take on that culture or that religion. Now today, if a Christian were to go to the East, there's no way they would take up Buddhism. However, a Buddhist might be prone to take up Christianity if he came to the West, just to say, I've experienced this. And a lot of Buddhists have looked into Christ deep and said, well, these are great teachings, and if that's what works for you, then that's wonderful. But it kind of leaves a lot to be desired when folks are still trying to say that Jesus is the only way. That is just the biggest irritant to me, is the folks that say that I'm going to hell because I don't take Jesus as my savior. Well, I say to those people, nothing, because there's nothing to say to a person that ignorant. And no offense, but sometimes offense needs to be taken, because if a person's pushing Jesus and saying that's the only way, then they're seeing the world through these glasses that say everyone's wrong except for those who are near me. So a Christian might get along with a Christian, even though they have disagreements among most things. As long as they have that same religion, then they can tolerate each other. But a Christian and a Muslim, no way. As long as, even if you have the same values, And this is just a generalization of the group. But that's kind of the disgust I've had with, how Christians have it almost right. They understand that if they're walking in the footsteps of Jesus, that's fine. If they're doing everything right, the way the world, the way that the natural law tells us to, which are the Ten Commandments, are so obvious. These are value systems. So as long as another culture has those value systems, there's no need to push them away for that. And I don't know how many times I've had comments from people or messages that they'll send me and say, hey, you seem like you've really got a good head on your shoulders, and you seem like you're almost there. But you just got to take Jesus Christ as your Savior. Oh, fucking shut up. You know, just shut up. I'm done with it. I understand it. If a person wants to say this worked for me, and if I have a system that works for me, and I can tell a person, hey, this might work for me, and they choose to take a different approach, then I say, hey, that's wonderful. You know, that's great if that worked for you. A Christian doesn't do that for me. No Christians have ever done that for me. If I say I have a different approach, they say your approach is wrong. And so I say, be gone with you. I don't have time for that. And it does get irritating. It doesn't bother me anymore because I just say, hey, you know, ignorance is everywhere, and it's ignoring the facts that people have different ways. And it leads me to maturity. That's what I've been thinking about today. What is maturity? It's the ability to recognize your faults and correct them, and to every day grow and come home and be able to say, what have I done today right? What have I done wrong? And what can I do to change these things and help myself for the future and be a better person? And it seems like a lot of folks think that as long as they read their good book and go to church, then it's good enough. And it's not good enough. It's not good enough for the universe. It's not good enough for the individual. And the reason I know this in my heart is because people who have found truth within themselves and true comfort have never found a need to push that on others or to inflict pain on others for a different belief, because truth is inherent wisdom. It's not something that's learned, it's something that's experienced. You can read all the books you want, you can do all the studying you want, but until you get out in the world and you actually experience these things for yourself, you know, it's like they say, you know, you could spend 10 years researching China and write about it all you want, but you're better off spending a week there in person, and you'd learn 10 times more stuff, just because that's being in the culture. And I can correlate that to religion. If a person wants to bash another religion, they need to step into the shoes of that religion and know what they're talking about, not just say what goes against my beliefs. Because everybody who's ever had their beliefs I guess bashed, you know, knows how bad it hurts. And so by my not developing a belief system, I can't be hurt. I mean, there's nothing someone can say that's going to make me think, oh, fuck, I have a wrong belief, because I really don't hold any firm beliefs, except for that there is a consciousness behind everything, and that we're all part of it. And it's our job to work on our individual selves. And this is where I really part ways with most religions, is that I don't know how many times people have said, well, you can work on yourself all you want, but it doesn't work. It doesn't do any good unless you give up, you know, give in to God or give in to Jesus or whatever there may be. Allah. I've had plenty of people tell me to join Allah. Oh, whatever. But the whole thing is, it's looking for salvation outside of yourself. There's nothing wrong with prayer. There's nothing wrong with saying a prayer. But prayer just reinforces the universe's desire to help. And it puts it out in there into the universe that you want help or need help. The problem is that most prayer is usually selfish greed. And there are plenty of prayers that people pray for goodness in the world. There are plenty of group prayers where people say we need to stop war, we need to stop crime. But most prayers are, you know, please save my brother, he's in the hospital. Or please, you know, bring me, you know, help my income because I'm really broke. You know, that kind of stuff. The small stuff in life. And that's fine too. But the whole thing is that the division comes when people think that they're asking externally for help, but really you're asking internally. And so when people tell me that I can't find truth without asking from without, I can understand that, because I do ask the universe for signs, for keys. I say, hey, you know, show me the right path. And so far I've been following a path that's worked for me very, very well. And if I were to see a path elsewhere that seems to be going better for a group of people, like a particular religion, one that really works and one that helps, then I might be apt to learn more about it and perhaps even join it. But to this date, for thousands of years, we still haven't agreed on a system of belief that works for everyone. So until we do, I'm going to have to step out of the ring and say, I'm more likely to take the Eastern philosophy because my satori is a permanent one. And everything I see is beautiful, and I see no need to defend my position anymore. I'll try to explain it and express how I feel if a person really asks or wants to know. But, generally a person only tries to prove themselves if they're trying to convince themselves most of the time. And I think the big difference here is that a lot of people are just trying to save everyone else, and they need to work on themselves, because that's what life's about. It is a personal search. It is a personal mission, and it can only be fulfilled within your own heart. Not in a belief system, not in a Jesus, not in Allah, not in Buddha. It can only be found within the man's heart. We have evolved to such perfection, and we're such wonderful creatures. The way we view the world is constantly manipulated. Our brains are molded to everything we learn. I mean, it's been proven that, a person sees in the clouds what they want to see. If a person's been playing video games for a few hours and they go out, they might see characters from the video game. And if a person, like a guy at work, he's from El Salvador, and he said, even him, he's a Christian, he believes in Jesus, but he would always make fun of the people in El Salvador and in Mexico, because he said that they always see the Virgin Mary in everything. And he would ask the people, he just told me this today, he said he would ask the people, he said, how come they only see the Virgin Mary in Mexico and they don't see it over in Germany everywhere? And when he said that, it really made me, because that's what I was trying to express, and he put it out perfectly. It was, people see what they want to see. And depending on the culture, if a person says, I saw this, and the person can reinforce their belief, then they're constantly reinforcing each other. The fact is that if something can't be experienced directly, equally by everyone, then it's invalid. So the only thing that's experienceable by everyone is personal salvation, personal breaking free from the binds that hold us and make us worry about things. Life is too intense and too awesome to worry. I mean, there's plenty to do, but when you become incorporated, you stop separating yourself from the things around you. You stop thinking, I'm separate from this tree, or I'm separate from my car, or I'm separate from my wife or my kids. You look at yourself as a whole organism, and all of a sudden, you fit in. You feel like you fit in, and there's a part for you. Not this defeatist attitude that humans are this scourge and we need to be wiped out, and look at what we've done to the world. It's not that bad. It's not that bad at all. We haven't done that much to the world that the world can't take care of. I'm not going to say we haven't done horrible things, but humans do stupid things. Kids do stupid things. Kids pull a cat's tail. And, kids hit the dog on the head with a shoe. But it doesn't mean they're going to do that their whole life. And so you can look at modern society as we're in our child stages, in our childhood right now. And we're learning how to work together and play together nicely. And the internet's brought that along very nicely, very quickly. It's really taught a lot of people how to have a different form of respect for each person and their belief systems. And you just got to break free from this idea that any one person really knows anything. You know what I mean? Because so far, there hasn't been a group of people that came forward and said, look, we have utter proof that this is what how the universe was created. Here are the mathematical formulations. This is why it happened, and this is what we're here to do. Everybody's tried. Everyone's failed. The only ones that have even come remotely close are the Eastern philosophies, which teach a person to search within for values and integrity and develop those over a lifetime. And each day, take accountability for the things that we do wrong, and take accountability for the things we do right, and try not to take credit for them and say, hey, look, I donated money to this place or did that. Just do it. That's the old Nike thing, it's just, they shouldn't have stolen that saying, because that saying goes so much further than Nike, and it goes way back. But just do it. It's just such a simple philosophy and you take these old terms that you've heard in the past and you start to put a new approach to them and say, this is why they stayed around. This is why this works. Yeah, just do it. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it. Just do it. You don't have to overthink anything. I know sometimes it seems like I'm overthinking things, but I'm just processing what I'm looking at around me. I'm just constantly just bombarded by all these new trees, new birds, the sky, every little thing that happens. The fact that we've come to this very point in time makes me so happy. And hopefully tomorrow I'll be even happier. So that's the goal. Grow and push your negativity aside. There's no room for negativity in this world. I do it, you do it, we all do it once in a while. That's okay. But we gotta nip that shit in the bud. So, hope everyone has a great day. Namaste. I love you all. And just try to take a deep breath and enjoy every moment. Because that's all you have is yourself and your environment. So, because you can't take anything else with you. You can't take the materials with you. You can't take your family with you. You can take these energies and these things you've developed. And regardless of what happens after you die, you can move forward in life knowing that if there is an afterlife, or if there is rebirth or reincarnation or whatever it may be, at least you know that when you're up there, or out there or in there processing your next life or whatever it may be, you can look back and say, damn, I did a pretty good job. Did the best I could. And that's all you can do. Peace.